Dear students, in this module, we'll be continuing with our Chapter 2 Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. The topic of discussion here would be pollination. Pollination is defined as the process of transfer of pollen grains from anther to the stigma of the flower. It could be the same flower or it could be the different flower. So transfer of pollen grains, which actually contains, each pollen grain contains two male gametes from the anther, that's the male part, to the stigma, that's the female part of the same flower or different flower, is what is referred to as pollination. The pollination is basically of two types, where it includes self-pollination, that is autogamy, and geitonogamy and xenogamy. They are the type of cross-pollination, which is also referred to as allogamy. So self-pollination is referred to as autogamy and cross-pollination is referred to as allogamy. Talking about autogamy, that is self-pollination. If the pollen grains are transferred from an anther to the stigma of same flower or different flowers of the same plant is called self-pollination or autogamy. In the flowers with exposed anthers and stigma, complete autogamy is rare. Autogamy in such flowers, it requires synchrony in pollen release and stigma receptivity. Plants like viola, that is common pansy, oxalis, commelina, they produce basically two types of flowers. The flowers are chasmogamous or clistogamous. Clistogamous flowers are the ones which never open throughout the life, whereas the chasmogamous are those flowers which are in which the opening or blooming of the floral bud in the form of a flower is observed, is quite observable. Here in the diagrammatic representation is depicted the chasmogamous flower and the closed one, which is referred to as the clistogamous flower. Talking about autogamy, in that we'll talk about the chasmogamous flowers. The chasmogamous flowers, they are similar to flowers of other species which have exposed anthers and stigma and facilitate the process of cross-pollination. Whereas clistogamous flowers are the ones which are closed. They do not open at all. Here the anther and stigma lie close to each other, and here what is observed is autogamy or self-pollination. Clistogamous flower ensure assured seed set, but it also leads to inbreeding depression because there is no variation that is introduced as the pollination is taking place in the same flower. Talking about geitonogamy, that is a type of cross-pollination. When the pollination takes place in between the two flowers of the same flower, then two flowers of the same plant, then it is geitonogamy. From the genetical point of view, geitonogamy is self-pollination because all flowers of the same plant are identical, but ecologically it is considered as cross-pollination. Xenogamy is when the pollination takes place in between the two different flowers of two different plants of the same species. Then it is xenogamy. This is real or true cross-pollination. Genetically as well as ecologically, it is cross-pollination. Now talking about the agents of pollination. The pollinating agents could be either abiotic or the biotic agents. The abiotic agents, that is the non-living components, comprise of the wind and water. Biotic agents include insect, bird, bat, primates, arboreal rodents, reptiles, etc. Talking about the anemophily, that is a method of cross pollination. It is also referred to as wind pollination. When the pollen grains are transferred from one flower to another flower through air, it is referred to as anemophily. Example, maize. Anemophily is also found in gymnosperms. Anemophilous plants, they produce large number of pollen grains. The pollen grains in case of anemophilous flowers, they are light and non-sticky so that they can travel large distance. They are small in size and dry, and their stigma is hairy or brushy so as to catch hold of the male part. Yellow clouds are formed in the sky during the wind pollination in case of Pinus. The example of wind pollinated plants include sugarcane, bamboo, coconut, date palms, papaya, etc. Talking about pollination through water, that is what is referred to as hydrophily. When pollination is brought about by water, it is called hydrophily. It is quite rare because it is limited just to 30 genera, mostly the monocot plant. It is observed in Vallisneria and Hydrilla, which are freshwater plants, and Zostera, that is a marine seagrass. In lower plants, because water is used as a medium of fertilization, therefore, water is a regular mode of transfer for the male gametes, especially in bryophytes and pteridophytes, which require water for the process of fertilization. In Vallisneria, the female flowers, they reach the surface of water with the help of a long stalk, and the male flowers are released onto the surface, thus ensuring pollination. The pollen grains of the water pollinated species, they've got a waxy coating, that is a mucilaginous covering, to protect from wetting. Generally, all aquatic plants do not use this method of pollination, that is hydrophily. In certain aquatic plants like water hyacinth, that is terror of Bengal, and water lily, the flowers, they emerge above the water level for entomophily, that is insect pollination, or it could be wind pollination as well. Talking about the biotic agents, that is a methodology which is used by majority of the animals. When pollination takes place by animals, it is called as zoophily. Generally, in zoophilous plant, flowers are very large, attractive, and maximum number of nectar glands are present in them. The basic pollinating agents are bees, butterflies, beetles, primates, bats, etc. Pollination by insect, particularly bees, is more common. That is referred to as entomophily. The features of insect pollinated flowers are that flowers are large, colorful, fragrant, and rich in nectar so as to attract the pollinators. Small flowers form inflorescence to make them visible. The flowers pollinated by flies and beetles, they secrete foul odors to attract animals. The pollen grains are generally sticky. When the animal comes in contact with the anthers and the stigma, its body gets the pollen grains. And when it comes in contact with the stigma, the process of pollination is ensured. Some plants provide safe places as floral reward to lay eggs. Example, the tallest flower of Amorphophallus, which is 6 feet long. A moth species in the plant Yucca cannot complete their life cycle without each other. The moth deposits its egg in the locule of the ovary, and in turn the flower gets pollinated by the moth. Many insects consume pollen or nectar without bringing about pollination, and therefore they are referred to as the pollen or the nectar robbers. In this module, we try to garner the concepts related to pollinating agents. Many other pollinating agents, like for example, the pollination could be brought about by birds, which is referred to as ornithophily. Example, hummingbird. Curatophily, the pollination brought through bats. Example, musa. Myrmecophily, pollination brought about by ants. Example, mango. Malcophily, the pollination brought about by snails. Example, chrysanthemum plant. So thus, there are variety of pollinating agents which bring about the pollination. In case of plants, hopefully, you must have garnered the concepts related to pollination very clearly. Thank you.